Hi, Internet. This is going to be my December update. I'm going to be talking about my hobbies, my hobby progression, and yeah, just kind of document my journey in eliminating or reducing hobbies to replace them with more productive, helpful, happier, and less stressful hobbies. So, in previous vlogs, I've mentioned, not written, I've mentioned that I'm cutting back on calligraphy, wax seal making, crafting in general, in order to bring back more exercise, like physical exercise, and gaming into my daily routine. So far, I have been exercising pretty much every day. There are days I do have to take breaks due to an abundance of responsibility, sporadic abundance of responsibility. And I know burnout is a real thing, so I don't want to hate exercise. I want it to just be a part of my routine, just like brushing my teeth or washing my face in the morning. It's the same thing. So it's been great. I exercise anywhere between 30 minutes to like 2 hours a day, depending on how I feel, depending on how much adrenaline I have, how many energy drinks I have in my system, that kind of thing. I try not to pass more than one energy drink a day. And the same with gaming. So I will play 1 to 2 hours of games every day. There are days I skip again due to responsibilities. So I have not done any wax sealing, calligraphy, or crafting in like a month or more. I do have coloring books that I use at night if I want some color, if I want to see different color combinations, things like that. And the coloring book thing came up in November. It was kind of by accident. And I think I was just missing color in my life. I just wanted to see more color. And it's also super relaxing. It's not messy. All I need is a book and like colored markers or colored pencils. And that's it. It's easy to clean. There's nothing to clean really. And it's just super accessible. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I can do it from pretty much anywhere. It doesn't require like heat or electricity. I just need a good light over where I'm working, my space, whatever. And that's it. The same with exercise and gaming. It's very accessible, doesn't take up a lot of space. And if it does, I will go for a walk and maybe, go to a nearby park. And yeah, so I want to mention something really quickly. This is kind of like an evolution of hobbies as well. So I've mentioned in a video that my inner child cluttered up my space, and that's one of the reasons I've decided to cut back on a lot of different hobbies, because I just felt like they were more stressful than conducive to the quality of my life. And there was just very little return, to be honest. I still enjoy wax sealing and all, crafting and all those really beautiful, fun activities, but they're less like hobbies and more like tools. So I've been treating exercise the same way. Like when I do acquire something new, I ask myself if it's worth the space that it's taking up. And I picked up a jump rope recently, and it was so weird because that's something I used to do when I was a kid, and I totally forgot I used to do it as a kid until I started jump roping recently. I went to a park nearby that has like soft rubber ground because it's better for your shins. I get shin splints when I jump rope. And when I did it outside, it reminded me of when I was a kid and when I would do all these little crisscross tricks and stuff. And my inner child was happy. And it's just funny that that connection was made, like neurologically and emotionally. Like, hey, I used to do that when I was a kid. It's so weird. But I genuinely picked up that jump rope to get my heart rate up. It's teetering on high impact exercise. It feels really good. So I've been getting a lot of dopamine from exercise. I feel like my body's changing a little bit. I feel really good. I have a lot of energy in the mornings and the evenings, and I just feel great. Like there's a lot of dopamine being released. My body really enjoys it, so that's why I do it. And it's not addicting. It's not addicting in the way that my stationery and crafting hobbies were. Something else that I want to notate is an evolution when it comes to stationery. Now, I love pens, books, journals, things like that. Um, and I also love reading. I've loved reading for a long time. And I'm giving myself, well, now that I have extra time in my evenings and in the morning because I'm not doing so much crafting like I used to, which was actually addicting. Like it's all I would think about sometimes. Now that I have extra time, I have more time to read. And if I have more time to read, I have more time to discover new topics. And I've really been interested in evolving technologies, changing technologies, and also marketing. So I've been interested in dabbling in different sciences. And instead of just buying a book as soon as it's referred to me, what I'll do is get it from my local library, borrow it for a few days, and if it's worth keeping, what I'll do is order it and then just return it after a few days. Now, I won't read the book to its completion. My criteria for books, for both reading and keeping, like actually deciding to buy the book online, the hardcover version, if I can find it, there are only two criteria. Number one, do I feel like notating? Do I feel like underlining and writing my own little notes, things like that on the pages? The second thing, or the second piece of criteria would be, do I see this as a reference book? So the books I've been reading are nonfiction. That's my favorite genre is nonfiction. And I've been getting into some really cool authors lately. And out of all of the books I've been taking out from the library over the past month, I've only purchased 3. And I'm very proud of my tiny little library, but I'm being very careful too, because I don't want a bookshelf full of books. I don't want a bookshelf at all. What I have right now is a stack of books in my closet where a lot of my crafting stuff is. And if I have questions or if I want to be reminded of something, I will go to that pile of books and just grab the quote unquote reference book and just look at parts that I've notated. And I've been doing this for years, but I haven't been adding to my collection because over the last couple of years, I've been more interested in just creating. And there's nothing wrong with creating. Creating's great. But I just feel like for me, I've neglected some parts of my life, like my physical health and intellectual health. I've been creating more than consuming in a lot of ways. And like like if you go through like trending topics on YouTube or social media in general, I mean, I don't really use social media that much, but YouTube, you'll see a lot of like overconsumption content, or like people like making video essays. Like I recently uploaded a de-influencing video just for fun. just to see if I could do it. It was like off the cuff, like random. And for me, it was like when I think of consumption, I don't think of just purchasing stuff. I mean like whatever you're taking in, whatever, whether it's food or information, right? If you're consuming a lot of information or not enough information, I don't think that's a great way to live, in my opinion. I think learning is super important, but we also have to be careful about what we learn, right? Like we don't want to learn or quote unquote learn misinformation, right? I'm sorry, quote, learn, closing quote, misinformation. We want to be careful the kind of content we're reading, watching, etc., hearing on, through the media, right? Any kind of media, social media, television, whatever. So I thought to myself, I want to consume more knowledge. Okay, well, what dictates knowledge? Like what is knowledge? What is true knowledge? So that's the kind of work I've been doing over the last month. So what I'll do is I will notate and I will underline references. If I'm really interested in a subtopic, I'll research that. Like when I am reading, I always have a notebook next to me, and I'll write topics I'm interested in, close the book, and then look up those topics to learn more about them. Because I have a very I tend to be very curious, and I love I love going down rabbit holes, especially in the stuff I've been researching lately, like technologies. It's just really fascinating. And I want to make sure the references that I'm looking at, the content that I'm taking in, the books and articles and media or whatever I'm using to learn is a good source of truth. I don't want to just Google things. I want to be really careful about what I'm reading. I want to be able to fact check and research topics properly. I also like to fact check these authors. It's fun. It's the things that I'm doing is like the stuff I used to do when I was in college, and that feeling is so great. I love learning. So yeah, I've been exercising a lot. I've been gaming pretty much every day. I try to do at least one game a day. It's good for my brain. I love it. It's like this puzzle, and it's just super fulfilling. I get to play in teams, and I like that feeling of teamwork. And yeah, and you know what? I don't really miss crafting that much. Sometimes I do ask myself if I'm not creating enough. And also, I think last month in November, I picked up coloring. So, coloring books, colored markers, pencils, whatever. And sometimes I color at night. And I noticed it's because there was a gap missing, right? There was this color gap. I love colors. I love seeing how colors sit with each other, making my own different color combinations. So I'm still kind of creating, but in a non-messy way. Like there's no cleanup when it comes to coloring books and stuff. With wax sealing, calligraphy, like it's just so messy. And it just takes and it's also addicting. All those activities are super addicting. I don't want to stop. So yeah, it's working. Replacing some of these hobbies, or hobbies I used to call hobbies, are just tasks now, and I don't really touch those tools, right? Unless, something is calling for it, like an event or something, and I need to send out envelopes. I'll use my wax seal kit. And reading books, exercising, I don't even know if I would call that a hobby. It's more for my physical health. I feel like a true hobby, it's really more for recreation, and books to me reading is a very recreational activity. Same with gaming, and I need unadulterated fun. I think I'm using that word correctly, unadulterated. Alexa, define unadulterated.
The adjective unadulterated Unadulterated is usually defined as not diluted or made
Alexa, stop. Yeah, so it's undiluted fun. I wanted to make sure I got that definition correct. And with exercise, the main motive is for my health, like my overall well-being. With the reading books, that's it's definitely more leaning towards it's a fun hobby, but it's not unadulterated fun because it requires a lot more brain power than playing video games. So my unadulterated fun comes from gaming. Exercise is not as fun, but it does have so many benefits and it doesn't take up as much space. But I do have to be careful with the book hobby because there's going to be a point where I'm just going to have books falling all over each other, and I don't want that to happen. And, all I need is just a few reference books that I can, use to refer to other things. So I feel like I have enough reference books for now. I think 3 in a month is enough. They're really small. I think one of them is pretty small. The other two are like 600 pages each. It's really big books. There's just an infinite number. There are so many rabbit holes I can go down in with these books. So yeah, very, very, very happy with how my hobbies are evolving. I'm really curious to see what happens in the coming months. And yeah, so that was my little December holiday vlog update. I decided not to do like a formal video with a nice backdrop. My cat was sleeping on my chest, so I was like, let me record with this little cutie pie. So yeah, those are my thoughts. If you're like me with evolving hobbies, habits, if you have hobbies that are in common with mine, let me know. What games do you play? What book topics do you like to read? Do you also read nonfiction? All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of the year. It's going to be 2026 soon. I hope you guys are ready. I'm excited for the new year. I already have my New Year's resolutions on this giant vision board, which is a project I've been working on. But yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to try to upload these every month. I really enjoy these long vlogs. Now, my other videos are like about an hour long, like on average, I think. This one is going to be pretty short because it's pretty simple. Replaced hobbies, and I have a lot more free time to explore different topics. And yeah, there is glitter on my hand. I've been wearing makeup more often, and I think some of it got on my hand. Not on this, actually, yeah, on this side of my hand, unfortunately. But I don't think it'll hurt my cat. She'll be fine. Right, Emmy? Yeah, we snuggle and cuddle all the time. You probably get makeup on yourself all the time. Right, Emmy? But yeah, I've been wearing makeup a lot more often, but I don't consider that to be a hobby. It's just part of my routine now. And yeah, I feel like I've broken the crafting and stationery addiction. I'm consuming more information, reliable information. I'm not creating as much as I used to, but I feel like my life feels a little more balanced. And if there are any other gaps, I'm sure I'll find them and try to fill them in with easier activities like coloring books, for example. Again, with the colors, I miss seeing different colors on paper or whatever, and coloring books are just easy for me. They don't require a lot of imagination, but it's a way to create. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year.